Tonight, Theater Mutiny. A former University of Miami professor and theater director walks the plank after a falling out with colleagues just weeks before a critical play. Rumors swirl as the cast prepares for opening night. Will their ship sink or float? Plus,
My contour.
growing up neutral.
And in doing the research, I really found what is now considered gender nonconforming, which is the opposite of a tomboy. Cooper is a boy who enjoys girl things.
While some children may define themselves as male or female, one child lives in between. Find out how he is breaking gender boundaries at an early age. And
Make you forget where you belong, and I'm scrutinizing and over.
the journey to stardom. The sound of her voice has stolen the hearts of University of Miami students. Now, she plans to share her passion with people around the world.
Tonight, find out who made strides in the quarterback competition. Miami held their spring game this weekend. See all the highlights in sports.
Well, it was a beautiful day here in South Florida, but it won't stick around for the weekend. I'll tell you when there's rain in the forecast coming up in weather. NewsVision starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Chantel Batista and you're watching NewsVision.
I'm Kate Hovan. Thank you for joining us.
Tonight is a big night for the University of Miami Theater Department. It's the opening night of its spring musical, Pirates of Penzance.
The play is about people who are pirates in their industry, but one UM professor didn't fit the bill. UMTV reporter Nate Derenbacher is live in front of the Ring Theater with more. Nate, tell us what's happening.
That's right, behind me is the Jerry Herman Ring Theater, where the cast and crew of the Pirates of Penzance are inside preparing for their opening night performance. But the production has not been smooth sailing. Cast and crew have been doing emergency rehearsals following multiple illnesses, injuries, and the termination of Brian Valencia. I had the opportunity to speak to one cast member who says that despite all these issues, the show must still go on.
Professors are our directors in this case, so they know that when we give extra time to rehearsal that is not originally scheduled, they know that we're taking time away from other things to do that. And so it's kind of a prioritizing matter.
On March 30th, Brian Valencia shared an email saying that his termination comes after he voiced concerns about things happening within the department. He also thanked students and said that everything he has done has been for those students. Valencia has been teaching in the theater department for 4.5 years, and his termination comes as a surprise to many. After his original announcement, Valencia shared another email on April 2nd, asking for students to help in his petition to administration. Approximately 1 week ago, Valencia decided to no longer be involved in the upcoming performance of Pirates of Penzance. The cast and crew have been scrambling to get extra rehearsals in, and on top of no longer having Valencia's direction, cast members have also faced multiple illnesses and injuries. Now, we have learned that more faculty members' contracts are also not being renewed. But despite the rough waters that faculty and students have faced during this production, the show is still starting on time. The show will run from tonight through April 28th with a free performance for all students on Tuesday, April 24th. If you're interested in seeing the show tonight, you still have time to make your way on down to the Ring Theater, where the performance will begin at 8 p.m. Reporting live from the Ring Theater for UMTV, I'm Nate Derenbacher. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Nate. There's so much controversy going on over there.
Absolutely, but like they said, the show must go on. And although this show is in rough waters, another is about to set sail. The show was written several years ago, but the issues it raises are as relevant as ever. UMTV reporter Justin Stevens has the story.
Hidden in Hecht Residential College is the University of Miami's theater department. Look a little bit deeper and you'll find the Hecht Studio Theater, which is home to many theater classes and several plays. And starting next week, the cast of Omnium Gatherum will take the stage. Omnium Gatherum is a play about a dinner party in purgatory. The play revolves around several political issues, with many of the guests coming from different political backgrounds. Some of the characters are based on famous individuals like Martha Stewart and Tom Clancy. But politics aren't the only focus of the play.
I think kind of the big message, which can get lost in all of the political talk, is the idea that everyone deserves a place at the table.
But the characters are not the only ones who are meant to be at the party.
What I've strove for with this remarkable cast, to make the audience feel like they're at this dinner. And you're sitting there as the troubles of the world are discussed, and it's pretty funny at the same time.
Although the play was written in the early 2000s, many of the political issues are still relevant today.
We're doing it in 2018, which is 14 years later, but all of the arguments that we have and all of the big discussions really are still the hot button issues that we're still debating on today.
Many fans of UM's theater productions can't wait for Omnium Gatherum to open.
I've seen a lot of shows in the theater department, but I'm particularly excited about this one because it's politically charged and they have a really great cast and creative team.
Omnium Gatherum will run in the Hex Studio Theater from April 26th through April 29th. For UMTV, I'm Justin Stevens.
The University of Miami Police Department is investigating 2 incidents that targeted Jewish students on campus. 2 UM students found anti-Semitic symbols written on their property last week. One student found a large swastika drawn on a whiteboard outside of her door in Eaton Residential College. Another student found swastikas and sexual obscenities written on a community board 4 days after the first incident was reported. President Julio Frank sent out an email statement this past Monday condemning the behavior. Frank says UMPD, the Dean of Students Office, and Housing Residential Life will report directly to him. The statement says the individual or individuals responsible will be held fully accountable. Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Patricia Whiteley, met with student leaders on campus yesterday. She says expulsion for the individual is on the table. Both incidences are still under investigation. Anyone with information should call UMPD at 305-284-6666.
And lately, you might be hearing the term gender conforming. People around the world are trying to define what exactly that means. This is also the struggle of one 7-year-old boy in South Miami. As UMTV reporter Sydney Sterling tells us, he is receiving a lot of support for freely expressing his way of life.
Montour, and this is my highlighter.
Cooper Solomon is your average 7-year-old. He likes playing outside, reading, and snuggling his doodles. But what sets him apart is that he does it all in a dress and heels.
When Cooper was about 18 months old, I noticed that he definitely gravitated more towards feminine toys, feminine clothing, and that was different even though I had already had 3 kids.
After Cooper's mother, Jennifer, noticed these differences, she decided to investigate on her own.
And in doing the research, I really found what is now considered gender nonconforming, which is the opposite of a tomboy. Cooper is a boy who enjoys girl things.
I'm going to use some items in Cooper's closet to show you what gender nonconforming looks like. So if Cooper wakes up and wants to wear a Star Wars shirt, he can. If he wants to wear a dress to school, why not? However, being a gender nonconforming child isn't as easy as picking out what to wear in the morning.
Much higher suicide rate for gender nonconforming and transgender individuals who do not have family support. And it's unfortunate, but without a support network, especially in your innermost circle, their feelings of safety and security in the world is not there.
Luckily, Cooper's family, friends, and teachers have stood by his side every step of the way.
We ended up going to the DC Pride Parade. I think it was just important for me to be supportive and walk with them in something that was so important to them and their family and their cause.
In order to educate more people on what gender nonconforming means, Cooper and Jennifer founded the Miami chapter of PFLAG, which stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays.
And so it took me over a year, and I opened our chapter here in South Miami. And it's been amazing because I get phone calls all the time. Children like Cooper with parents that are just looking to see for support, what should we do? So it's been an amazing thing having PFLAG.
Whether it's a PFLAG event, a pride parade, or just a normal day at school, Cooper is always there to encourage others.
If any little girl or boy or like me, I would give them advice that don't care what anybody says, just be yourself.
From Pinecrest, I'm Sydney Sterling, reporting for UMTV.
Cooper's mother and teachers say that they're hoping that they will be able to bring awareness and education to gender-conforming children through their organization.
We've been blessed with some beautiful weather lately. I wonder if it will hold.
Yeah, me too. Tommy, how's the weather looking?
Well, guys, we'll have weather like this through at least tomorrow. And I mean, with weather like this, we really don't want it to go away. It was a really beautiful day in Miami. That's going to continue through this evening. 79 degrees outside the studio right now. And with the low relative humidity of around 60%, it made it really comfortable to be outside today. Combine that with the breeze out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour, made it really nice today. This wind and this breeze is continuing through pretty much all of Florida right now. 10 miles an hour here in Miami, like I just mentioned, 13 miles an hour up in West Palm Beach, and a little bit less down in the Keys. Winds 6 miles per hour in Marathon and 7 miles per hour in Key West. And as we look at the radar and satellite, a pretty beautiful day here in South Florida. No rain, no anything on the radar, no clouds either, making it a really beautiful day to be outside. As we head out and look at the national radar and satellite, you can see pretty clear skies through the center of the country. Coming up in our full forecast, I'll tell you if this will hold through the end of the week, and we're looking at rain for the beginning of next week. I'll tell you when to pack your umbrella and how much rain we're expecting, and I'll also tell you how long we can stay in the 80s for. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tommy. Hit or miss weather, so I guess we'll have to keep monitoring that precipitation percentage.
That's right. And still to come after the break, the Castro regime in Cuba is almost over after 60 years. We'll tell you who's in charge now. Don't go anywhere.
30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Throughout Broward County are continuing the conversation about school safety more than 2 months after a shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, and they expressed their concerns at a forum Wednesday night. The forum featured several speakers who highlighted the need for stronger safety measures throughout Broward County school districts. The concerns come 2 months after 17 people were killed when a former student opened fire at Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida. Broward County School Superintendent Robert Runcie assured the crowd that he will take any necessary steps to avoid another tragedy like the Douglas shooting. But he also stressed the need for students, parents, and supporters to stay patient while changes are made.
And from activists to authors, 2 students from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School are now writing a book. Parkland shooting survivor David Hogg and his younger sister Lauren are the authors. The book will be called Never Again, and it will chronicle the Parkland massacre, as well as talk about the gun control movement that was started by the students. Proceeds from the book will be donated to, quote, help heal the community, end quote. But you'll have to wait to grab yourself a copy, as the book is planned to hit stores on June 5th.
The transition of power in Cuba is underway. The Cuban National Assembly has officially chosen a new leader for Cuba, and for the first time in nearly 60 years, his last name is not Castro. Today, the Cuban National Assembly officially named Miguel Díaz-Canel as the new leader of Cuba. The Communist Party loyalist was nominated by Cuba's National Assembly on Wednesday. Díaz-Canel was the vice president, and he was born just 1 year after Fidel Castro took power. He is expected to carry on the vision of his predecessors. The new president promises to finish Castro's revolution. Díaz-Canel also praised the resilience and strength of the Cuban people.
More than half a century of evil indications, which have led to discouragement in the face of difficulties, have not been able to destroy the pillars of the temple of our faith.
The shift comes into power just months after Cuban President Fidel Castro passed away. Miami residents had a rally that celebrated his death after passing. The rally was held at the Bay of Pigs Memorial in Little Havana. Although there will be a new president, Cuba will not be done with the Castros just yet. Raul Castro will remain the head of the Communist Party in Cuba. But before we continue, we have to take a break. When we return, all of your weather questions will be answered.
And we'll have all the details on this year's playoffs. Don't go away.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're gonna take the laces, we're gonna cross them over, we're gonna turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Well, thanks for staying with us here on NewsVision. I'm meteorologist Tommy Fletcher here with a look at your forecast. Like we mentioned a little bit earlier, a beautiful day here in South Florida. High temperature of 83 degrees, and although for some of us, including myself, it did feel a little bit warm outside for springtime, we were actually around our normal temp of 84 degrees. Not quite, though, reaching our record high of 92 degrees that was set back in 1969. Right now, pretty comfortable around all of South Florida. 79 degrees here in Miami, 79 degrees down in Marathon, 80 in Key West across on the other coast. 77 degrees in Naples and 79 degrees in Fort Myers. Nationally, here in Florida, we're definitely the hot spot, although Tallahassee has us beat by a few degrees. But as we go north, you can see things definitely start to get colder. 61 degrees in Billings, Montana, 67 in Denver. Pretty chilly in Las Vegas at 62 degrees. And as we head up to Boston, you can see it's 43 degrees where they're dealing with some weather there. Looking at the national radar and satellite, you can see pretty clear in the midsection of the country. There is some weather over on the East Coast near San Francisco, but there is one big system that we mentioned a little bit earlier affecting the Northeast. As we zoom in and take a look at that a little bit closer, you can see the system is pushing out offshore right now, but earlier today it did bring some pretty significant rain to parts of New Jersey and New York, even towards Boston. A little bit of orange and yellow on the radar indicating some pretty heavy precipitation there earlier today and some snowfall as well, but that's going to move out for them over the next few days. Here in South Florida, though, we're not really going to see anything like that. Clear skies are in our forecast for at least tomorrow. As we take a look at the futurecast, you can see just that, clear skies throughout much of the day tomorrow. A chance of precipitation to our north, but the chance for us here in Florida, or in South Florida, excuse me, increases as we move through the day tomorrow and into Saturday. And as we move through Saturday and Sunday, you'll see a system start to come in that will bring a wet start to the end of our weekend and the beginning of next week. As we take a look at our growth forecast tonight, if you're heading out, temperatures in the mid to low 70s. A pretty nice night outside. If you're heading out, you won't need to bring an umbrella or a sweatshirt with you. As we get later in the night, though, past 1 o'clock, temperatures could dip into the upper 60s, though, so that's something you may want to consider if you're going out. Warm temperatures tomorrow as well, 84 degrees, sunny and dry with winds out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then as we take a look at our 7-day forecast, you can see sun for Friday and Saturday, but a pretty strong chance of rain as we move into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. How strong is that chance of rain? Well, 60% chance of rain on Sunday and then 80% Monday and Tuesday. And as we head and we look at the rest of the 7-day forecast past that, you can see sunny skies for Wednesday and Thursday as we finish out the semester. That's all we have for weather, but for now, we'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Tommy. Looks like some good weather for the next few days.
It's perfect timing as the Hurricanes football team just had their final scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah, and you know, I might not be part of the QB battle, but I know N'Kosi Perry and Malik Rozier put on a show at The Rock this weekend. And the University of Miami football team had its spring game at Hard Rock Stadium this past Saturday. It was the first time Canes fans could see the team in action since their loss to the Wisconsin Badgers in the Orange Bowl. The storyline everyone wants to hear is quarterbacks. Malik Rozier, N'Kosi Perry, and Jaron Williams all took the field at The Rock. It was the first action any fans have seen of Perry and Williams. The incumbent starter Rozier looks to fend off the redshirt freshman Perry for the starting quarterback position. Perry sat out the 2017 season while Rozier led his team to a 10-3 record, which included an ACC championship and Orange Bowl appearance. Head coach Mark Richt talked about continuing to push Rozier.
Push Malik. My guess is if either one of those guys was with the #1 unit, they probably had a hard night too. So.
After missing the playoffs for the second time in the last decade, the Miami Heat are back in the postseason. They dropped Game 1 to the Philadelphia 76ers by 30 points. Looking to avoid a 2-0 deficit, it was up to a familiar face to carry his team. And the Heat were in Philly will start off with a historic bucket as a step-back jumper by Dwayne Wade's going to go in. Wade is going to pass Larry Bird 10th all-time on playoff career points. Now Dario Saric is going to throw a bomb looking more like Carson Wentz. Hey, this isn't an Eagles game. Simmons is going to throw it down. Crowd going crazy, but Wade says, I'll shut them up real quick. Step-back jumper, almost pulls an AI, steps over Covington, but that's going to give the Heat a 17-point lead. But that would dwindle down. Dario Saric, the European, making it look easy with the layup, but Wade, who's going to save Wade County, excuse me, but no other than Mr. Miami himself. Wade is going to throw it down after the 76ers cut down the lead to 4. Heat go on to win it 113-103. Ever since he could hold a racket, tennis has been a big part of Luis Ramirez's life. And while despite rising as high as the international stage, his career took an unexpected turn. UMTV reporter Javier Perez has the story.
Luis Ramirez got his first racket from his father when he was 5 years old. By the time he was a senior in high school, his talent and dedication had started to pay off.
I was in the best spots in the ranking in Venezuela, so that gave me a perspective of what I wanted to do. I decided to come to the United States in the pursuit of a scholarship. I went to New Mexico State University, played Division I tennis over there.
During his 4 years at New Mexico State, Luis improved his level. He began to realize that there could be more than a college career in his future.
I got into a national team when I transitioned from college to professional tennis. That was in 2014 when I decided I was going to go full with it.
A year later, Luis got a call that many players can only dream about. He was selected to represent Venezuela in the Davis Cup, which is the highest country-level tournament in the sport. Unfortunately for Luis, the Venezuelan Tennis Federation did not offer any support for many of its players.
They would give you sometimes 10,000, sometimes 20,000, sometimes 30. In my case, I never got $1. A lot of corruption is into it. The federation chooses who gets the money, not upon results or ranking, but on who they want to give the money to.
The financial struggles made Luis and 3 other top-level players retire from tennis. None of them were older than 23.
It was probably the worst feeling of your life. It's your life taken away at that moment, right?
Even though retirement was a hard pill to swallow, Luis continues to be involved in tennis through coaching. He also became an agent from high school students looking for college scholarships. As for his career, Venezuela will never know if it missed out on its next champion. Reporting for UMTV, Javier Perez Fernandez.
So why don't we go practice some tennis this weekend?
Okay, Chantel and I versus you.
I'll be there.
That's 2-on-1. That's not fair. No, I take it back.
All right, we'll talk more about it during the break. We'll be right back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, butt in the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling. Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
The University of Miami Frost School of Music is one of the top music schools in the country and certainly attracts a lot of talented students. Our reporter Robin Shapiro met with one of them.
Ann Lee is a couple weeks away from graduating from the University of Miami's Frost School of Music with a degree in media writing and production.
It was kind of like a compensation thing because I didn't feel like I was the best singer and I didn't feel like I was the best pianist. And so I felt like, well, maybe I can write songs. That could be my thing.
She has been singing covers of other artists' songs on YouTube since she was 13 years old. And about a year ago, she decided she needed to create a new name for herself in order to release original music separate from her song covers. So she decided the name Emia because she wanted a name with Vietnamese roots like her own name. She had started her band as a required ensemble for one of her classes, but it evolved to become the support system for her as an artist.
We were originally going to just write music, but we didn't have a plan. So as we got gigs, we were kind of all right, we need songs. And I brought out a lot of songs, and it was just kind of a group decision that, you know what, it's essentially Emia. And they were so supportive and about it that they would kind of adopt my persona as the band.
Yeah, it's been really cool to play Ann's music because I usually play my own music, and learning how to fit my musicality and my skill into somebody else's art has been such a great experience.
A fan of Emia spoke to me about her music.
Emia's music is amazing. I listen to her on Spotify all the time, when I'm going to class or when I'm going to work.
However, Emia isn't just well known at the Frost School of Music. She has over 16,000 followers on her YouTube channel. She's created her image as an artist not only with her songwriting, but with her handcrafted music videos.
I think if I could sustain a passionate following and be extremely self-sufficient in terms of I'm the one who's in control of my image and my brand and my songs and how it's produced, and that has resonated with a lot of people, I think that's the kind of success I'm going for.
Emia is planning on moving her passion to New York City after graduation to expand her network and continue to spread her brand. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Robin Shapiro. Wish I could sing like that. Kate, can you sing like that?
Yeah, in the shower. Absolutely, I'm amazing.
I can definitely relate to that. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Chantel Batista.
And I'm Kate Hovan. Make sure you follow us on social media. Have a good night.